ready. No answer default, and mom has an attorney.
Good morning. This is cause number 2020-35669 in the interest of Irvin Eden Lamarck Jones. All party, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear.
Yes, sir.
Was there an answer?
Can you hear me? Yes, sir.
She said yes.
I didn't have my
That's fine.
earphones on.
That's much better.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you get old sometimes, Ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Aisha
Ma'am.
Jones. I am his mother.
All right. And representing the mother?
Your Honor, my name is Olaide Banks. I'm an attorney.
Okay. And representing the state?
Toya Armstrong, representing the Office of the Attorney General.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Irvin Lamar Jones. Mr. Jones was served on November 14th, 2020 at 4:41 p.m. at 8010 Echinacea Drive in Baytown, Harris County, Texas. He has not filed an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Armstrong?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So this is a straight no fault, no answer default?
That's correct, Your
Ms.
Honor.
Armstrong?
Yes, sir. No
All
answer.
right, we'll proceed by default.
Thank you. I'd like to call
Go ahead.
Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, are you the mother of the child on this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is the father?
Irvin Jones.
And are you and Mr. Jones currently married?
Yes.
And have you filed for divorce on this case?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones did sign a document called Acknowledgement of Paternity, making him the legal father of this child since the child was born prior to the marriage. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, have you seen Mr. Jones check into the Zoom hearing today?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if Mr. Jones is employed at the moment?
Yes, I do.
And where is he employed?
Sophisticated Rides.
And is that his own company?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has he owned this Sophisticated Rides business?
About 8 years.
And what kind of business is it?
It's a transportation company.
And does he have people that work for him?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did y'all stop living together in the same household?
Around March 2015.
Okay. Now, are you familiar or have you ever been familiar with how much his business makes?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the amount that he makes from the business?
About $2,000 a week.
Okay. And is that before he pays his self-employed taxes?
Yes, ma'am.
And does Mr. Jones have any other children besides the son that he has with you?
No, ma'am.
Now, based on $2,000 weekly gross, were we able to calculate a monthly income for Mr. Jones based on that?
Yes, ma'am.
And that income came to about $8,666 per month. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And were we able to calculate a child support amount based on 20% for him to pay in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that amount come to $1,173 per month?
Yes.
Are you okay if I ask the court to have that payment begin February 1st of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, who provides health insurance for your son?
He has Medicaid.
Do you have affordable health insurance available for him?
No, ma'am.
And do you know if Mr. Jones has private health insurance available for him?
No, ma'am.
Now, you asking the court to allow you to apply for the medical government assistance program?
Yes, ma'am.
And then is it okay if I ask the court to have Mr. Jones and pay the state of Texas $390 beginning February 1st of 2021 for the medical?
Yes.
Okay. And are you requesting any retroactive child support from Mr. Jones for the last 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in the last 4 years, now just to be clear, I'm speaking about June 15th of 2016 through today's date. In that time frame, has he given you any money for child support, Mr. Jones?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Has he bought any items for the child of value?
Yes.
Okay. And if you had to add up the value, the amount of those items, what would the dollar amount be?
About 5,000.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else he's given you in these last 4 years?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we were able to calculate retroactive child support in the amount of $65,688. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're willing to give him credit of $5,000 for the items that he's purchased your son. Is that right? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that leaves a remaining back child support of $60,688 you're asking the court to award you today.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you okay if he pays $200 per month starting February 1st of 2021 towards that judgment?
Yes, ma'am.
And if Harris County decides to have one of you pay court costs, who should have to pay it, you or Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones.
Now, as far as making joint decisions, who makes the primary decisions, the day-to-day decisions for your son?
I do.
Are you able to make joint decisions with Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's okay if I ask the court to make y'all joint managing conservators of your son, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're okay keeping the child's primary residence in Harris County or a county that surrounds Harris County, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as far as visitation, how old is the child, first of all?
Eden is 10 years old.
Okay, so he's 10, he's very familiar with his father, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're okay if I ask the court to grant Mr. Jones a standard possession order, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
We've gone over what's included in that standard possession order previously, is that right, with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pass this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Banks, any questions?
Just a few, just to confirm the earnings. Ms. Jones, you're familiar with Mr. Jones' earning because you actually worked in the business at some point?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are familiar with how much the business makes?
Yes, sir.
And what types of transportation does the business provide?
He provides transportations for athletes, for people trying concerts, games, different weddings, different leisure occasions.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any further questions, Ms. Armstrong?
No further questions for me, Your Honor.
All right, any further witnesses, Ms. Armstrong?
No further witnesses, state rests.
All right, Mr. Banks, do you have any witnesses you wish to present?
None, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the default order as submitted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May we be
Yes.
excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.